for you flag-waving Americans. We set Castro up. Then Castro turned on us. You got to read your history, friend. Castro turned on us. He wasn't going to be our puppet. Because don't think America doesn't do that. We did it. We did it with Iran-Contra down there in South America. That guy, we set him up, huh? Noriega, he was set up by us. That one guy in Iran, we set him up, that Shah, that before Khomeini took him out, he was our puppet guy. We had puppets all over the place. Huh? Osama bin Laden? A lot of those guys, Osama bin Laden turned on us, but he started out, we used him against the Russians over there in Afghanistan. We funded them so that they would fight the Russians. You remember, the Russians see, because you don't remember, because you don't read. Turn that stupid TV off, get you a book. Amen? Osama bin Laden and those guys were fighting those Russians over there in Afghanistan, if you remember back then, and Russia took a good throttling. I mean, they throttled them good. Then guess what? We step in over there, and we start to get throttled. Amen. Now listen, I'm going to tell you right now, this is my opinion, my personal opinion. It's not worth one drop of any Marine's blood over there in that sand. I'd glass the whole place. Now that's me. That's why I'm not president. Because if I was president, I would tell them, listen, women, children, get out of that area. You've got 24 hours to move from that area out. Anybody left in that area after the 24 hours, it's on you. And I'd nuke that thing back to the Stone Age. Then I'd say, next. You think Kim Jong-un over there in North Korea is crazy, brother? You ain't seen nobody crazy yet. You want to get this thing started, brother, I'll strike the match. But I promise you, when I put boots on the ground over there, I'll be stacking bodies up for runway lights. You say, brother, that's not, I'm telling you, that's me. I'm talking me personally. That's how I feel about it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you, I have to pray about it all the time. Say, Lord, don't let me ever be president. Please don't make me president. Don't ever put me. Why? Because that's how I feel. That's how strongly I feel about our military. I would not have one person in a military uniform hurt or harmed when I could wipe it out long before I ever have to touch it. Amen. I'd bomb it back to Stone Age. Now, that's not good policy. That's not good Christianity. That's why I'm not in charge. And I don't need to be in charge. But that's how I feel. Why? Because I love that flag. I love my country. Amen. And I love the United States military. All branches, including the Marines. Just got to keep the crayons away from them. They have a tendency to eat them. Amen. But what you find here is you've got this same type of mentality showing up where these guys are paying off another country to use them as their guerrillas to keep the peace. Again, Castro did the same thing. Who did he buy? He brought the Russians in to keep us back. And of course, if you remember, and if you read, you remember the missile crisis with Kennedy back in the 60s. What was that? That was two guerrillas bumping chests over who was going to control that part of the world. That's Darwinism. That's what that is. Survival of the fittest, man. The biggest guy on the block takes it all. Yes, ma'am.
Most people don't realize that we overthrew Ukrainian's last president and installed Zelensky in there.
We probably had something to do with it. I don't remember a whole lot about that. I haven't read up on it. I do know there's a lot going on there. I don't believe Zelensky, that guy that's in there now, is quite as kosher as everybody thinks he is. But I can't remember who was there before him. But I do know Putin. I've read enough on Putin that I know that he is nothing to be trifled with. I don't understand exactly what's going on, why he hadn't just went on in there. I know he has the ability. I don't know. But I'm sure there's something there, sis, and it'll come out. And I have no delusion that if they ever pulled back the curtain, so to speak, and we really saw what was going on, we would probably be completely shocked and just like couldn't believe it. Because I don't believe Epstein killed himself. I don't believe the Clinton Foundation down there in the islands was kosher. I don't believe a lot of things. And I'm talking Democrats and Republicans. I'm not just beating up the Democrats. I'm talking about Republicans too. There's some shady characters there all the way around. And the thing is, though, is we're Christians. I'm not gonna not say the truth. But what we have to look at is we want to look at it from a biblical point of view. How does God see it? And that's what we're talking about. God looking at a nation. And when you look at nations, how God looks at them when a nation turns its back on God, God turns its back on that nation. And as good as America has been, and America has been great. America used to be we sent missionaries everywhere. We supported the nation of Israel. We were founded on a Christian theme and a Christian basis. Our founding fathers, even if they were deists, maybe not Christian, but deists, they believed in God, they still had a fundamental and moral fabric to them. And the thing you've got to remember is that the thing with the way this country was founded, if this is a stool and it has 3 legs, you've got the first and you got the second. Amen? Right? This third leg is the moral leg. Probably not spelled right, but anyway, moral. The problem with America today is that they're trying to get rid of the first, they're trying to get rid of the second. The problem is that the moral leg has been gone for a long time. We had a moral fabric in America. Now they're tearing down statues and they're putting up statues that are satanic statues that are completely anti-God. You say, well, we believe in freedom. Hey, listen, I believe in freedom. I think anybody ought to have a right to say whatever they want to say, whether I agree with them or not. And I would defend their right, and I'll say that on tape, I've said it before. I will defend their right to say it. But I'm telling you, the overall moral fabric of America is done. Say what you want. So that leaves you 2 legs. Well, you just got to clip one. First or the second. Well, they're going after the second. Whenever they get one of those, the other one's going to fall. You ain't going to have a stool. And there will be nothing supporting this country as you know it. That house will fall. In other words, America as you know it will fall. No two ways about it, friend. They will come in, once those 2 are gone, they will set up a socialistic, communistic-based country, which they're already trying to do. You've got people in Congress that are card-carrying communists. Amen. And are not afraid to say they are. You had one that was a socialist, Bernie Sanders, who is a self-proclaimed socialist, running for president. Well, what does the socialist believe? Well, he doesn't believe in the First and Second Amendment. Because I'm going to tell you, when you lose, to keep the First Amendment, to have the right to say whatever you want, you better have the second. Because without the second, you won't have the first. You say, well, what are you doing? I thought we were studying Bible. We are. On how countries are destroyed. And they're destroyed by men who will not follow God. Amen, amen. You can say it any way you want. You show me one country that is prosperous today that does not have some type of strong religious base. I'll wait. China? No. China has so much corruption inside, they're in as bad shape as we are. Well, America's got the strongest GDP in the world. Google that. You're right. We have the leading GDP in the world. But also, while you're Googling that, Google United States debt. 65% of our GDP goes to debt. So that leaves you with a 40% GDP, which puts you down around Venezuela somewhere. And they keep borrowing money, keep tacking it on you. That's why the price of eggs is $4. Gas, rubber, tires, everything going up 40, 50%. Not going to last, folks. It's going to bust. What is that? Right here in this Bible. And you know what happened when it finally, a country that cannot feed itself is destined to be conquered. And when you're no longer be able, because they're driving the mom and pop farms out of business. So now you got the big corporate farms, and Monsanto and all them, they're going to dictate what you'll eat, what you won't eat. And whatever they put in the beef, or whatever they put in the chicken, or whatever they put in it to push it to grow, so that they can mass produce this stuff, whatever hormones and chemicals are there, just be passed on to your kids and you'll like it. How many of y'all that are 50 and older, raise your hand here, you're 50 years old or older? 39. Okay. Amen. 39 and older. All right. Do you remember, now listen, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be cruel toward anybody. Do you remember when we were kids? Yeah. How many of autistic children do you remember seeing in school?
No, we didn't have any of them.
You didn't see them, did you? No. Now they were there, but you didn't see them. Why all of a sudden is there a spike in autistic children on the spectrum? Well, we have better ways of being able to. No. Now I understand we do have better ways of telling. But I'm talking about the vast majority of it. You know why? I believe.
Vaccinations.
I believe it's because of the diet and the chemicals that we're introducing to our children from birth. Because see, when I was a kid, we were still eating stuff off a farm. Growing our own garden. A lot of you had fresh milk from a cow. A lot of you had fresh meat because that was the meat you raised. Amen? Now, I'm not being mean. I'm not being cruel. Listen, I love those people. And I want to make sure they get what they need to help them along to live and to have a prosperous life. But I'm saying there's a reason. Things don't happen without a reason. So what we're talking about is we're talking about national level. And what we find here as we get closer to this is the total depravation of Israel as they go in and Nebuchadnezzar comes in and takes them captive and takes them away.